Hey everybody, this is Silver Spook, and this is the Silver Spook live stream, and this is the video on the Neofeud 2 updates, and also Relooted reaction. Um, Relooted is a Afrofuturist heist game, highly recommended. Go check it out. Um, and I'll talk more about that, but first to the Neofeud 2 updates. Also, let me know if this volume is a good level. I have to adjust it basically every time I start the stream. But anyway, Neofeud 2 is what is the status right now? The status of Neofeud 2 is we are very close to being very close to release. Again, that's going to be on itch.io in case you're wondering. And then later on Steam, but currently still looks like I should be able to get out in March. Approximately, it's an estimate. It's hard to say exactly, but it's about half the game is finalized. Half the game is finalized, and then in alpha testing. So like the first stage of testers are running through the game. As far as I can see, there's like. Sorry, I was trying to set my chat computer up here. As far as I can see, there is basically no major problems with the game, no major show-stopping errors that's causes the game to crash or blue screen or shut your computer down, or people haven't said they've gotten stuck in an area where they can't exit it by any means, or they just like it's what we call a soft lock where you can't progress in the game because of something going wrong. Or anything really egregiously, outstandingly not good. There's some minor typo things, like a missing audio bit somewhere. I think about adding a few more hints in some places. I think maybe I mentioned that last time, where it's like the Goldilocks zone of what is quote unquote good for a point-and-click adventure and puzzle game is kind of a fuzzy. It's not fuzzy logic, but it's a fuzzy area because some people it's kind of like what do you think about how much coffee you had, how awake you are. For example, I went to bed like probably a little too late, approximately 230 hours. I went to bed last night. I was trying to beat Valfaris. Anyways, the other game I was reviewing last week. So if you're more sleepy like I am right now, then your ability to solve the game, suddenly the game enters nightmare difficulty. Or if you're very awake, also if you've remember, if you're just kind of like, if you're very busy in life and you have a lot of your cognitive load, your mental RAM has reached its maximum capacity, and you don't have any more space for other information, which I find myself I have a hard time playing really complex, other people's complex games, like right now, because of so much Neofeud 2 in my brain. It takes up so much space, and other things too. It's just like life things, right? So if you have like not a lot going on in your life, that's why it's easy to play big, massive, lore-filled, world-building, intense, giganto-enormous RPGs when you're like a kid, or you're like 12 or 17. Well, all you have to do is your schoolwork, and then that's it, right? You don't have to worry about much else. Or I mean, if sometimes you have to worry about starving if you're speaking of colonialism, under a colonial occupation, and in a terrible war zone. But if you are in a first world situation, and you have the time and energy to fill your brain with where to put the luxury of art and entertainment consumption, being able to think about how should I use a scotch tape on the cat hair to make a cat mustache, and what the luxury of having the brain space not occupied by how to not starve or die in this situation, to fill it with various meanings of Klingon poetry. You can put virtual languages in there. All that space that is often taken up by other things, depending on your life situation. So I mean, long story short, that's a kind of complicated way to say that's like how hard, because point and click adventure games. I was just talking to one of our testers, and I shouldn't say too much, but some testers have cognitive impairments due to multiple concussive trauma. Let's put it that way. That's a whole other thing. You can. I mean, some people just can't remember things, or things slip out of your brain, right? Can't remember. There's lots of things that can cause mental impairments of various kinds, right? Even on a day-to-day basis. And so it's I got this question I'm really stuck here. What do I there are weird things like cat mustache. I make jokes about the cat mustache 1990s point and click adventure puzzle thing, but like there's some weird objects you got to put in your mouth in Neofeud 2. Pro tip, if you play Neofeud 2, I'm going to add that at the start. You might have to put really strange objects in your mouth. That's like a running joke in Neofeud 2. Is the main character, who is canonically a micro Chippendales dancer and ex and possibly continuing sex worker. He's had to put hundreds of unusual, unlikely objects in his mouth to survive. Okay, so just remember. Wait, have you tried putting it in your mouth? Okay, that's not a good tip in your real life. Okay, don't pick up gasoline, put it in your mouth. Don't pick up the matches and put them in your mouth. Don't light them either, kids. Don't give kids drugs. You might have to actually do that in Neofeud 2. The things that the people do in Neofeud 2. Neofeud 2 is a cautionary tale. It's a dare program. Drug abuse, ridiculousness, eradication. I forget what it stands for. So Neofeud 2 is put things in your mouth. You have to put gasoline and oil in your mouth. Don't do that in real life. Okay, he's also a robot, so I have to put a disclaimer. Neofeud is not a series of. Neofeud is not a public service announcement of how to lead your life. It is a cautionary tale. It's a cyberpunk dystopia. Anyway, long story short. So that's something interesting. I'm like talking to the testers. They're like, oh, this is like, some people like they ask questions and then they figure it out. Some people, there's like different levels of like what kinds of things are tricky for people. What kinds of things are difficult. That's interesting. Some people actually, one person has never played, basically doesn't play any video games. She doesn't play any video games. Like it's Holly's friend, and she's also a voice actor in Neofeud 2. It's like doesn't play like video games basically, but like got through the whole thing, like without asking any hints. So that's like a thing where, but it's partially like and it's like, but her like main like job is kind of like, or has been like editing and like attention to detail and like writing like stories and podcasts, writing scripts and making up questions and creating like trivia, those kind of like information based games. So if you like do that kind of thing where you have to solve puzzles, think about lots of information and data, have like really good attention to detail, have like good like memory, short-term memory use, like and that kind of thing. So like because of that, like maybe that helps her to get through Neofeud 2 better, because you have to like kind of remember all these things. Oh, this is the object that I could use for that. Oh, this is an object that could light. It's a spark. It could cause a spark that could, it could ignite a fire, right? So you have all these kind of facts and information that's constantly being adjusted and allocated and moved around and manipulated. So it's a lot like what is that like? It's not necessarily it's not just puzzle solving, but it's like dealing with large quantities of information and data, having a lot of attention to detail. It's mystery. If you like reading mysteries or playing puzzle games, even not video ones, making up puzzle games, right, and stuff like that, then that's something where like you might actually be better at these games, even though you don't play these games. That's something I that's kind of like realizing now. That yeah, it's as I think about it, if you like reading books a lot and you like fiction, like reading like fiction. Because because a lot of point and click adventure games are kind of like interactive fiction, basically, right? It's that's why it's very UK, a lot of UK fans, right? Because it's like you're reading a lot of information, and then you like but then you're not just like reading it, you're like using the information you have stored in your head, right? From the book you're reading, the narrative you're reading. What is this person's age? What objects do they have? And then you're like applying that to the world, right? You know, especially like detective and mystery fiction, but not just that, right? Where it's like, who? Oh, this John is 20 years old and he's from this place and he has a, you know, he has a, he has a motive against that person from that place, and he works as a mechanic, and there was oil found at the scene of the crime. You know what I mean? So it's like all these little details, right? That you're going, okay, well that person, right, as you're guessing in the story, right, the TV show or the movie or the book, you're like that person I think might have done it, right? That's how Game of Thrones ran. It was basically everybody figuring out, okay, based on all these details, who might have been the assassin in the Purple Wedding, right? Who's gonna die in the next episode? Who will get together? Who will get together, right? So anyway, long story short, so that's like a lot of I'm just like having this kind of simultaneous multi epiphanies in the middle of the stream. And let me look at the chat. Let's see if there's any questions. What's up, Street Cat Love? Anyway, so long story short, so that's some things I'm thinking about is like as the testers bring in their information, like this could use more hints. That's actually one thing. So some people actually play a lot of video games. Like one person that's playing the game actually plays a lot of video games, but like they tend to be more like action oriented games. Destiny in particular. Like I haven't played that myself, but from what I gather, it's more like it's like science fiction space military simulator, 3D first person shooter, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Even if you play some RPGs, but they're more like, you run, you beat things up, you kill, you take the gold, and you get the loot, and then you get more levels, and you get magic spells. But and you can follow the story, but it's not like you don't have to paying attention to it. And definitely, like, if you play Call of Duty or just like some, just first person shooter type, or even just like platformer games, that's not the same. That's not similar kind of mental. Like, you have to use your mind and your eye-hand coordination, and you have to use your parts of your brain and your body, but it's not the same kind of mental activity as playing a puzzle game, adventure game. I think actually even that was one difference between RPGs, maybe, because RPGs, if you just keep playing and you just keep leveling up, you can beat any area, right? But with a point and click adventure game, that might be one difference. Point and click adventure games, it's even more so you gotta really be paying attention to the information and the story, the characters and the world of the game. Because if you miss a thing, right? If you don't like remember a particular bit of information that happened previously, or you're not thinking about things in that way, then you can, then that's how you could get stuck. Where in RPG, if you just keep, like, if you don't have a level 7, if you're fighting a level 20 character and you're a level 10 character, and his like yesterday I was playing like giant freaking sand triceratops in this Egyptian space mausoleum or something, and they kept dying, right? But if you collect enough of these items, you can build a bigger weapon, upgrade your character, and then I can beat the giant. There's like these giant rock throwers, and there's like a COVID-19 like character that throws out the long arm of long COVID. It's like it's almost like a Furion cleavage. It's like a bacterial tentacle that comes out and whips you in the face. Anyway, so if I can't beat him because I don't have a strong enough tentacle, then I don't have a strong enough blaster, I can just upgrade my blaster. But in a point and click adventure game, you can't like upgrade your character. You can't like level up your character so to defeat the challenge. You simply have to use your neural RAM as least until OpenAI and Microsoft jack the neural RAM price up to $8,000. Then you lose, right? But I'm kidding. You don't have to buy RAM yet because you're not a meat computer, unlike what Sam Altman said today, which is that humans are inefficient meat computers and should all be replaced, and as a pretext for mass human omnicide. I'm just kidding. He did say that though. But anyway, you have to like use your brain to think through the problems. You can't fight combat or level up, it's going to take longer. If you're very skilled, right, at a particular game and the eye-hand coordination that it takes to do that. Something I noticed actually, people like there's a little bit of like action oriented, timing based action like fighting bit in Neofeud 1, and a lot of like the like more pure adventure gamers. And actually, I shouldn't say they were women or not, but there's maybe like a disproportionate number of people that are classic point and click adventure game players from that generation that are not men. Let me just put it that way. And like many of them reported like they really didn't like that section where it goes from puzzling adventure gaming suddenly to like a shootout. Like it doesn't become like Contra or Doom, but like you do have to like time. There's a gunfight and you have to point and click, but you have to coordinate multiple people kind of like shooting, and then also like figuring out how to like basically blowtorch or break open an escape route. So that's a little more like actiony, and it's less about thinking. You do have to figure out what to use on what object to use on what in the game, but it's a little closer to like action, and so a lot of people suddenly didn't like that part. So I had to simplify that. So that's like interesting. I was watching. I like watching these. Like sometimes Tim Kaine, the creator of Fallout, has these like he has like once every day or 2 days or a week, I forget. Like game dev discussions. There's lots of like interesting stuff. Just like his thoughts on game design. And like one of the things is like, yeah, there's not a game for everybody. There's no game that is the perfect game for everybody. Like it's there's only a good game that's good for you, right? Or a bad game for you, like you personally. Because people that that really is true, because some people would just be like, oh, the only part I like a Neofeud is the part where you get to do the shootout in the arcade. Where, Proto J, the $6 billion baller, Carl Carbon, fights off the team of SWAT cops, when they're and Talos, the ex-Area 51 escaped eugenics experiment that inexplicably looks kind of like the Shredder crossed with the Predator. He's like, it's and he's like firing a giant plasma cannon and blowing away tons of cops, and they all have to escape this scene. That's like that. It's really actiony. It's very like action movie. There's a couple scenes like that, but that one you have to really play it. I was playing Gemini Rue, which is one of the Wajidaya games, and I like that part of that game where it has lots of story, and it's like a cyber noir. It's kind of like a cross between like Blade Runner and Cowboy Bebop, and I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream. It's kind of like this like point and click, very moody game. But there's like fun little shootouts with the space yakuza. And I was like, oh, I want to put something like that in Neofeud. And so that's part of why it's like a little cover shooter bit. But anyway, so long story short is, if you like that, then you might, if you like those kinds of games, you will like that part. If you don't like those kinds of games, you might not. And like Neofeud is of course like, it's not a shooter game. And Neofeud 2 is not. I guess I made Decolonators and Pigeon with Gun. Those are more pure more pure actiony, and like not very much puzzle solvy. But Neofeud 2 is definitely adventure style game. So I gotta I haven't added any of those intense time based bits because of experiences in the last one. If you want it, like actually that's why I'm working on one of the other projects that I'm working on. Is a potential future project is a 3D more first person shooter game that's set in the Neofeud 2 world. But it's for people that more want action, more like action shooting oriented type games. Where you play like one of the green haired hacker main character Lith. Anyway, long story short, let me look at the chat. I'm just talking about what's I should focus on what the dev updates, and then I gotta talk about Relooted. So let me just look at the chat real quick. Okay, so anyways, But yeah, where is it going? Where are we going with the dev cycle? Yeah, so I'm about halfway done with Neofeud 2. I'm about halfway done with Neofeud 2. I'm about halfway done with the alpha build that's currently being tested. I just put out the second build for all the testers. So if you are a tester and you end up watching this, then you can like if you got through the first one, if you haven't finished the first one, the second build just like adds like 15 more areas to the first one. So if you haven't finished the first one, then you might as well just you got to download it and install the thing. You might as well just finish the first one first. Yeah, so that's where that's at. I'm just gonna share something that we got from. I just put up some new videos, so I'm just gonna share a little bit of that of what's going on in the game. Here's a scene where a rules-based order defending freedom or a colonial occupation defending corporate profits. I was thinking about this because like it's relevant to Relooted, because Relooted is definitely an anti-colonial game where you take artifacts back stolen by colonizers, put into Western museums, and repatriate them to the peoples from which it was stolen in Africa. So and in this game, there's a rules-based Western order. Is it defending freedom, or is it a colonial occupation defending corporate profits, including stealing artifacts and profiting from those? So let's watch this little video from Neofeud 2.
Who are you? You've entered Utopian Air Defense Zone 1. We are conducting freedom of navigation operations.
Your Western coalition is conducting genocidal massacres, cultural obliteration, settler colonial plunder, and proxy war of aggression. Admiral Olympus, withdraw your forces immediately, or we will be forced to take direct action under Article 12 of the Alpha Centauri Convention.
You have no jurisdiction here. You are in violation of the interstellar rules-based order. You will depart immediately, or we will eradicate your Asioid communist infestation.
So be it. You have been warned.
So yeah, that's the rules-based order getting unfortunately or fortunately thrown into disorder. Anyway, trying to see. Remember something else I recently posted. Here's another one. An empire boldly strikes where no empire has struck before. Can the galactic war crime be stopped? Do you live in a country that's part of an empire that does war crimes? Neofeud 2 may be applicable to you. Okay, let's watch this real quick. Oh, and also, what's up, Comrade Internet? To boldly strike where no empire has struck before was the tagline for this show. Starheed Martrek is also a battle station maker of popular Doom Ray shooting products, such as the Destruct Star. Do you speak Latin? Do you know American history? You may understand what that is on the bottom of the screen. Anuit Queptis. It approves. Also SPQE. You know, if you speak Latin, you might know what that is as well. It's Luke Seawalker's idol, Johnny Lightsword, from the Stellar Warriors movies. I was never a big fan, but in my opinion, phony religions and medieval weapons are no match for a good pulsar rifle. For context, the main character of Neofeud 2 is an ex-colonial space marine robot kill machine. So 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 he knows a thing or two about pulsar rifles. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? Also, I just want to say that 100 years in the future, the Empire is still running on 3.5 floppy disks. Actually, they're pushed back in technology because of their catastrophic internal failures, and destroying all their hardware and software supply chains, and the brains of the engineers that used to work on building them, with mass AI apocalypse.
Any ideas?
This cluster of bellicosity must be handled swiftly, Steel One. I sense its beating heart may generate gravitational fields.
Oh, sorry. I don't see you said Guillotiers is in there? I don't see the chat. Weird. Yeah, maybe Holly can fix the chat. Oh, I'm on the wrong chat. Anyway, so that's Empire boldly strikes where no empire struck before. That is a little bit of Neofeud 2. Some more bits of Neofeud 2. And here I did actually play Relooted. Just a little side note. I did play Relooted on Twitch a couple times in the last 2 streams. So I got through about an hour. Technically, actually, I can't actually run it on this computer, but I have run through it. I've run through about an hour or a little more than that of Relooted. It is a great game about reclaiming real African artifacts from Western museums in this African futurist heist game. Recruit crew members, plan escape routes, acquire the precious cargo, and bounce out of the joint as fast as you can. So I do recommend anybody pick it up. It's making a lot of very bigoted people very mad. It's like it's a positive thing to say about a game, when really not good people are very upset about a game. It's probably doing the right thing. If you're not taking flack, you're not over the target. As a great commander once said. Oh, you're watching the Doctor. Somebody was watching Dr. Yasman stream. Well, that's good. Yeah. Thanks to the anybody who does stream Neofeud. Somebody else was streaming Neofeud. Maybe Holly can recall who that was. I forgot who that was, but somebody was streaming Neofeud. Last time I went on Twitch, I just typed in Neofeud, and somebody happened to be streaming it. So, who was that? It was a college teacher, not a formal professor, but somebody who was a college teacher was playing it. So, if you do play or stream Neofeud, don't forget to if you tag me in the post, or thanks for doing it, because of course, this is basically I'm a one-person game dev in the game dev sense. So I don't, it's me and Holly. Holly helps to manage things around here, but we don't have any marketing or any budget. So if you do play the game, it's really appreciated. You can YouTube, you can stream it, share it wherever. We rely on word of mouth, grassroots promotion. So yeah, do definitely do that. Yeah. So there's actually several people streaming it right now. So which is pretty good, because Neofeud is like a almost 10-year-old game. It's almost a decade old now. Jeez. So the fact that people are still playing and streaming it is pretty great. Actually, I got to talk to a bunch of the people after they had just played Neofeud. They rated into. Let me just get that so I can like give these people a shout out. Dr. Yasman. Sorry, it's a slight detour, but I'm pretty sure is that the one? Is this the correct person? Yeah. So thanks to Dr. Yasman for playing Neofeud.
You can't live on the business end of it.
Greatly appreciated. And then someone else was recently. What is the name? Yeah. So thanks to Dr. Yasman and Further Furl. I didn't get to share you live, but this person did. Further Furl did play.
Can I?
Did play Neofeud recently, and it is a big help because then more people learn about the game. I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat bought it like right as they were playing it. So anyway, so if you do get to play it, don't forget to tag if you remember, you can tag me on Blue Sky or Twitter or anywhere else, and I will try to share your stream around. Because like I said, we rely on word of mouth, and people just people that like people that actually like appreciate indie games, and these kind of like Neofeud is a pretty unique kind of indie game, so you need to have like a this is not Call of Duty, this is not I don't know, Genshin Impact, I don't know what's a big game everyone's playing, Elden Ring. So people that are into like these like kind of like retro point and click adventure games, like particularly like a certain kind of politically maybe what some might say like more left politically leaning games that not everybody wants to play that. Some people just I don't want to play games with politics in it, which is unfortunate for them because everything's political. But obviously I want to play like more right leaning games or quote unquote apolitical, which is basically pro status quo, which is not great games. So if you want games like people that actually are into those kinds of games, if they play it and share it, then that really helps other people who might be into those games. And discoverability. I was just actually watching Warren Spector, who worked on Deus Ex, which is one of my favorite games. Was talking about, and there's a game conference where they're talking about discoverability is one of the hardest things. So getting people to discover your game is like, is. I mean, it is. It's getting people to discover anything, right? That isn't Slopocalypse, not good content. Let's put it that way, is difficult. So yeah. Thanks a lot for everybody sharing it, and thanks everybody. Thanks everybody watching this video, of course, and thanks everybody who has streamed it and played it and told anybody about it. Told anybody about it. Yeah. And Guiltier says so let me see if I can bust this out. Guiltier says I'm trying to pay attention. This is kind of like a dev this is like a dev Q&A too. That's what I'm trying to do on these YouTube Saturdays nowadays. So I'm gonna try to pay more attention to this anyway. To the chat, I mean. Guiltier says I follow Neofeud on Twitch so that I get notified if somebody goes live with playing it. Well, that's good. Good idea. For my part, I go out of my way to tell folks about Neofeud. I should probably just. I'll probably go and. I don't really have time to tune into every single stream. There was one point where I was tuning into anybody playing Neofeud and just being like, "Hey, everybody, thanks for playing it. I'm the dev. If you have questions or you need hints or something." I did drop into that Further Furl person's Twitch stream and be like, hey, thanks a lot for playing the game. And then after they were done, they raided into my stream. And then I answered a bunch of people's questions about the dev process, what it's like, doing the writing and the music and the art and the programming. And I'm glad. I think Guiltier says people like really like the writing in Neofeud in the Dr. Yasman stream. So I answered, I was like, what was that like? And like, what was the music like? How what engine did you use? I start talking about all kinds of stuff. The voice acting, because I did like half the voice acting in Neofeud as well. So so that's it's always nice to be able to get that feedback, because it is hard to it's hard. Discoverability is hard, and also finding people to interact with and engage with. I find it's just getting harder and harder. That's not that's not it can be difficult. So getting like actual people that have played the game to directly interact, and partially is my bad, because I have been not great about interacting with people for various reasons. I have chronic hermit isolationism disorder. No, I just there's a whole bunch of reasons, but sometimes I go into weird modes. Being a solo dev is also a weird thing to be. It's kind of isolating. So sometimes, because I worked on Neofeud 1 and Neofeud 2 basically alone, which is like, it has some benefits because you don't have to like deal with a lot of the problems of team dynamics, but then also you don't have as many people to interact with. So anyway, long story short, that's why I'm trying to be more interactive with the chat. I know sometimes I'm not as interactive with the chat, so I'm trying to be a bit more as well. But yeah, again, do keep streaming the game and playing the game, and let me know what you think about it. If you really don't like it, then I might not be happy to hear what you have to say. If you're a tester, definitely let me know if you find any problems. That's the main thing with Neofeud 2. Comrade Internet, what's up, Comrade Internet? Let's see. I saw Comrade Internet somewhere on there. Yeah, thanks a lot, Comrade Internet. I go out of my way to tell folks about Neofeud. Well, thanks a lot. That really does help us a lot, Comrade Internet. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to reset my screen here. Okay, so yeah. So I talked about Neofeud 2 update, status update. There's a new Neofeud 2 build out that includes like, it's approximately half the game, maybe a little less, but maybe about half the game. Remember, if you want to get when Neofeud 2 does come out, well, somebody was commenting on the soundtrack earlier today. So if you like the Neofeud 2 soundtrack or the Neofeud soundtrack, or both of them, it is available on Bandcamp and also on a Ko-Fi. If you want to get that, because somebody was like, one of our friends, one of the couples that also is Neofeud 2 voice actors, was listening to the music while cleaning their house today. So I think it's one of the optional. You can get Neofeud 2 soundtrack on a Ko-Fi as well. And so they were listening to the soundtrack, and they really like that. Really, I think phenomenal was the word that they used. So thanks a lot for that. They also did really great work in the Neofeud 2 game. In case you want, I shouldn't put anybody on the spot, maybe, but thanks a lot to Ophidian the Cobra and Kate Nix for voice acting in Neofeud 2 as well. And also thanks for testing the game as well. Ophidian was a somewhat well known, and certainly in the wrestling community, indie wrestler, Ophidian the Cobra. So we have celebrities. We have full on luchador celebrities playing Neofeud 2. That's the kind of star power we are cooking with. You know what I'm saying? If you smell what the Silver Spook is cooking, I'm the much cooler Pacific Islander. No, sorry, too many reference intersections and stackings. So anyway, back to Neofeud 2 updates. That's another little in game playing Relooted, of course. I'm gonna share a little bit Relooted in a second here. Here's one more. A couple. Let me see. I think this all came out this week. So, 6 days ago. Let me just check that. I think I might have shared this one last week. Yeah, that was 8 days ago. But here's a couple other little bits of Neofeud 2. Try to convince native people you're not just protecting multi-planetary corporate interests for a percentage. So as I said, Neofeud 2 does deal a lot with the capitalist system, colonialism, imperialists that are like, just trying to steal people's resources by invading people's countries and blowing up their land and, keeping them occupied and having the military and global military coalitions just basically bodyguarding oil and things like that. You might have heard of that. You ever heard your president or your prime minister collaborating with something like that? Anyway, so that's Neofeud 2 definitely deals with that. And obviously I'm a native Hawaiian myself. We have dealt with native assaults on our water, land, air by U.S. military, including at Red Hill, but just historically for many years and decades. So this is definitely a part of the game that comes with personal experience. And our comrade Luna Oi is also a voice actor who is one of our Vietnamese good friends in this scene as well. So I'm just going to share that real quick. Smog joke. Geez, does the West ever stop bombing?
Yaura, friend. I come in peace.
Lies! You come to put me in a cage, to torture this body like the others.
Huh? What? No, I just want to talk.
I do not wish to talk to you.
No, hey, it's not what you think. I'm here to help.
That is what the space invader said before scoring Mother Eden, despoiling the garden, putting us, your elders, in chains. You are a steel murderer, a creation of Yan-Yu, the broken dragon. You come to destroy.
Yes, I have done that. I'm sorry, but now I'm here to help. I've changed sides, and now I've been sent here by your High Steward. I'm with the Venuran civilization.
The Venuran sent you? Really? There is much rancor, resentment between the Ugarians who retain strict tradition and our cousins who embrace the lightning vine and the Hoku Vaka. My tribe has vomited her insides drinking your poison water. I have lost cousins to the blast of your primitive fire Quaker states. You will understand that I do not trust your empty words, Metawan.
Gates, damn. When you put it that way, I wouldn't trust me either.
Anyway, so that's just like another little snippet of Neofeud 2. That is our Luna Oi playing the indigenous, very sophisticated, but also obviously suffering some terrible situations. It's that alien character Baroxa. Luna Oi plays multiple characters actually in Neofeud 2 and does a very good job of that. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it does. So Neofeud 2 definitely deals with those kinds of situations. The complexities and the intricacies and the trauma, the sadness, but also the ongoing struggle in colonized, imperialized, indigenous, and these invading forces. And or is it an invasion, or is it simply the defense of freedom? It's like an ongoing, it's a informational narrative, and it's a an ontological struggle that's being fought in every history book, in every discussion, in every news media report. And so that's a whole whole other layer of Neofeud 2 beyond just the cyberpunk dystopia. That is what Neofeud 2 expands the universe of Neofeud 1 in that sense. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, let me look at the chat. Don't go too far off the entire thing. Let me just check the chat real fast. Hey, what's up, McClellan? Thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. Thanks for your ongoing. Really appreciate all the support as well. Hey, don't forget. If you want to resist the injustices and don't defend corporate profits, remember keeping everyone safe by not spreading pathogens, particularly bad ones right now. Shout out, masking like the Olympic athletes have been doing. Shout out to them, among some others, prevents us from catching multiple very not good diseases. Measles is apparently making a big comeback, in part thanks, of course, to the lack of vaccination and also just damaged immune systems due to ongoing biological mass slow motion human dehumanization or removal of humans on the planet, basically. I don't know. So again, Sam Altman just said earlier today that if you think it's expensive to train Gen AI computers, humans take so much energy and food, years to train them. So I mean, why do we even have humans around? Let's just have AI, like what imperialists and the grand chessboard, top billionaires wanted in the mid 20th century, which was to replace all humans in the Marvin Minsky era, which is to replace all human workers with robots that would never strike, rebel, attempt decolonization or anything else. So anyway, so remember, keep your meat computer functional by masking up. Anyways, public spaces. Anyways, thanks a lot to McLovin for stopping by. Okay, let me just check what else we got here on the list. Okay, I gotta play that Relooted, or I'm not play it, but I'm gonna share some of the video of it, and then talk a little bit about that. I think that's all of this. But yeah, and also Captain Cook getting exiting his mortal coil. They happened. This happy belated Valentine's if you celebrating that. It's also end of Captain Cook Day. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into this. Let me just open up the Relooted game site. You can get on Steam. Despite there's a lot of not great people talking about this in not great ways, of course, but Relooted does people that actually want to play these games. It is being played, and it is being liked. That's one narrative is that this game is nobody likes this game. It's a failure. That's a huge amount of the content farming, of course. Unfortunately, on platforms including this one, right, is to just basically empower bigoted people to just kind of make sad, unhappy people that think that their life isn't going the way they wanted because women or black people or brown people are in the world living their lives, basically, right? And so but the reality is, actually, this game is being played and enjoyed by people. It is made by a South African team, not a huge team, and it's a really cool game that's about I think I gave a short review of it, and I'll give it after. I'm gonna let the trailer play, and I'm just gonna kind of take a break, and let's just watch the trailer here.
We're here for one reason: to get back what was taken.
How are you going to do that?
Sometimes heroes have to be outlaws.
No alarm on the glass. I'm in.
Make sure you've planned your escape route before you pick this artifact up. There's a turret up ahead.
I need Forger here.
He's on it.
You are not alone.
I've got your back.
Think. Plan. Don't rush.
Stop, intruder!
I'm a visitor.
Oh, really? Please, enjoy the museum.
Got it.
It's time to get out of there.
No problem.
Don't get sloppy.
Move, Norman.
Thanks, Red. I got you.
There are my little couriers. I really wasn't sure about you initially, but you turned out much better than I could have hoped.
All right, so there you go. Sorry, so I can get my chat on here. Yeah, and so yeah, I again I played through a bunch of it. It's really great game. Oh wait, was that not showing up on the stream? Oh no. Let me just check the chat here. Yeah, so Relooted was really fun, really interesting. There's lots of actually like African history and world history that's discussed in it. The characters are interesting. Sorry, my camera. There you go. And yeah, it was really you know, one thing I mean, I love, you know, heists. What can we say about heist games? What one complaint was, oh, Relooted is a game that promotes stealing, you know, and there's many bigoted things that are said, like, you know, this is what happens when you give, you know, those people the chance to make games, blah blah blah. This Relooted is a, you know, it's a racist game. It's a game that's, you know, about taking artifacts from museums. I mean, Shadowrun. What do you do in Shadowrun? Which is, yes, a cyberpunk genre, right? I was thinking a heist. All it is heist. What is Ocean's 11 about? Stealing things. Ocean's 12 and 13. What is that about? Stealing things. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Snatch. Right? It's Brad Pitt. You know, punching people good. And then stealing things. Like, I mean, there's so many movies about stealing things. There's so many heist movies. So many... Grand Theft Auto, one of the most played games, right, of a game series in gaming. It's just mass crimes, mass stealing, and then celebrating it. And often, like, in its one thing, actually, like my review, and I think maybe I'll jump to that, is if I can get my review on the screen. Let me just give me 1 second here. My short review of Relooted is where did I put that game? Relooted is where did I put it? In general, okay. Sorry. It is a African futurist heist game. Sorry, let me get it on the screen. Darn it. But it is an African futurist heist game where you return artifacts from Western museums. I give it 6 decolonators out of 5. Very fun gameplay. Great graphics. Fascinating, important story. A fresh spin on GTA and cyberpunk breaking and entering games, where instead of Shadowrunning for yourself, you're Sankara running for the people. Go team Yamakop, and I hope to see much more. Anyway, so that's like a... So I think that's basically what it is, you know, because we think about it, like there's so many games that's about taking things, right? An RPG, there's even a gamer lingo nerd term for that. RPGs, right? It's called murder hobo, right? Murder hobo, because you don't really live in a particular place, like a hobo, right? Like somebody that is a rambling man, as they once said. Right, you're just going from town to town, right? You're in Lothlorien, or you're in, you know, you're in your Shady Sands, and then you're in, you know, Broken Hills, or you're in, you know, somewhere in Final Fantasy VII's, you know, Floating City, or wherever you're, and then you go to another place. You meet people, you take everything from their closet, right? You take their tonics, their super tonics, you know, their Full Metal Jacket bullets. You take their gold. Right, and then you kill things and you take their stuff. You take their gold and then you take their swords. You take the flaming sword of fire. Right, you take the obsidian helm of +1 demonic protection from everything that you kill, and you leave the dungeons, and you kill the dragons, and you take all the piles of gold the dragons were sitting on. and you amass vast quantities of stuff, and then you become God, and then you kill everything. So, but you also save everything at the same time, which is what Planescape Torment is about. It's about dealing with all the crimes you have in crimes by tabletop role playing. Role playing gaming for many hours. Anyway, but long story short, so there's a lot of games where that's what's happening. Is you're going, and specifically heist games, right? There's many specific heist games where you're going in Shadowrun, right? We're doing a run, which is a what? It's a heist. You're taking in Shadowrun Returns. There's like a German museum, and you steal a bunch of artifacts in the first mission. Just off the top of my head, Neuromancer is a heist book, right? Cyberpunk 2077, right, which is based upon Neuromancer in a large part, is you're doing these jobs for money, for yourself. Okay, so it's just well, I gotta do these runs because I have to do the stealing because but it's also like but when you're stealing in a lot of these cyberpunk games and these heist games and these these crime games, these GTA games, you're not stealing. You're stealing and then you're becoming richer, right? You're stealing and then you're becoming more and more, right? You're making a name for yourself. You can, you get more notoriety. You can buy a nicer house, right? You can upgrade your car. You upgrade your stuff. In Relooted, you're taking back artifacts that have been stolen by, a historical just wrongdoing under the colonial era. And unless you think that that's good, of course, Marco Rubio and the Epstein list, they think that's totally fine and has been good for that nothing wrong was done. And so if you think that's colonialism and slavery and the plunder and the spoiling and eradication of all these peoples and all their artifacts, if you think that was good, right, that's kind of that's part of what Neofeud 2 is also about, then Africans deserve to have the artifacts stolen. If you believe that, because they were given, what exactly were they given? Forced underdevelopment, over exploitation, having their uranium and Niger stolen. Like what were they given exactly? Anyway, so if you believe that, then taking back the artifacts is wrong, right? But obviously, from the other perspective, we're just taking back what is stolen, and it's normalized that there's a narrative that's pushed that the stealing was okay because of the colonial, basically brainwashing or just education, depending on your perspective, right? Now I'm a native Hawaiian person, so I would tend to say that it's to take these objects back is not stealing. It is repatriation, reparations, right? It would be like forced reparations, right? One might say it's not really reparations. It's just like taking back these artifacts, particularly like culturally significant artifacts that we're not taking with permission, right? And just simply like burying the crime with lots of placards doesn't make it not a crime, right? And like, so anyway, so that's part of what's happening with Relooted. I think, like, obviously on this channel, not on this channel, but on this platform, and what is the discussion that is causing, which is a good thing. Relooted is almost like Killmonger said nothing wrong in Black Panther, particularly in the beginning. Remember in the movie Black Panther, Killmonger is in a museum in Britain, which is a Western country that did steal vast quantities of the world's artifacts, and of course including Africa's, and put them in their museums. And then he's talking about this needs to go back to where it was stolen from, right? So it's almost like but Killmonger is, of course, because it's made by Hollywood, not a independent South African team. Everything Killmonger says is tainted by him being a horrible, ultimately then of unsympathetic character, basically to suggest this is what Killmonger said is that's too far. We can't do that. What we need to have is a handful of Obama blessed STEM STEM education centers in LA and Oakland or something. But Relooted is more like, well, I mean, actually, it's not, decolonization is not a metaphor, and returning artifacts is not some kind of platitude. This is what is just, if you want actual justice. Anyway, so I think that's like something that's happening with the game. I thought it's really interesting. Gameplay. And yeah, if Grand Theft Auto, people are not getting upset about Grand Theft Auto having stealing in it, right? It's when people, right, are not, if the stealing is going from the non-West into the West, right, and from certain people into certain people's hands, it's totally acceptable, fine, normal. It's called civilization. It's called freedom, right? It's a lot of what we're talking about in Neofeud too, right? If people in the global South, if people in the global majority, if Africans in Africa make a game about taking artifacts, it's immediately, that's criminal, that's wrong, that's just the worst possible thing, and we can't allow any kids to play this game, and nobody should be playing this game because, right? The same thing happened with Decolonators. I made a game called Decolonators, which is about the perspective of Decolonators is a game I made that's about the perspective of the colonized people in Vietnam, right? It's like it'd be like the Palestinian perspective in the 1970s, right? And their perspective was they were fighting back. I made this where Comrade Luna, who's also a voice actor, it's about fighting back against the people that were invading and taking and plundering their country, right? And which was that it's time to kick your butt and stop you committing war crimes and blowing up our villages and defending, you're stealing our resources with U.S. and Western military forces. So now, of course, from the American perspective, right? Well, it's complicated. Even the Americans, there's not a lot. Some are upset that they had to go fight any war, but there's a lot of Americans, of course, that believe that no, Vietnam we did the right thing because we were trying to stop the spread of communism. We're trying to stop, Vietnam from, being they have all kind of interesting ideas about what Vietnam was, is, and should be, right? And so, but that is a Western perspective on Vietnam. And so that's why, obviously, as somebody who created Decolonators and Neofeud 2 and all these other games, Relooted is definitely in that similar vein. And so, for that reason, also, we support, I hope that we get more from this very cool developer. Anyway, okay, that's enough talk about that. Check it out. It's 1:17. I gotta wrap this up. Okay, so anyway, if you have any more questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Prepare. I'm gonna read the comments now. Prepare for the anti-wokeness. Anti-wokeness grifters. There's people. They're always out there. They're gonna find something to put out there, and get the GDP of the West is basically really not great. Podcasts and word sayers, and then AI slopification, and then the rest are like printing out imperialist war propaganda. Basically, it's unfortunate. It's not great. We need to move on from that era sometime before Sam Altman turns everyone into Sam Altman just be like, there's too many of these meat computers out there. AI can do bigoted podcasts at 1 million times the speed of light. So we just have AIs doing right-wing podcasts to each other. That's going to be no. Prefer anti-woke grifters, alleged abuses. Don't forget to take the 3D 4 copper pieces hidden under the dirt farmer's bed. Yeah. Anyways, if you like playing RPGs, that's totally fine. But let's be real. It's a video game, and people are doing actions in games, and the thing is, people like action. people like action. Like I said, some people like action a little less. They like puzzle solving, like in Neofeud 2 and Neofeud 1. But some people like action. If you have action, a lot of action is like lots of violence. I mean, it's kind of like goes along with what I was saying earlier, where people like have if you have the luxury of not being at the poverty line or in the global south, being blown up or being under austerity or being under not austerity, forced under development, or war zone in Africa, Asia, or Latin America, and then you have the luxury of have the time and energy to fill your brain with things other than that, because you have to have basic food safety needs being met, and not being a certain level of just daily grind has to not be filling your life and your mind space in order to enjoy art and games. I mean, it is a privilege, so we got to be real about that. That's when we're making games, like a lot of the people that are playing it's going to be people who are more well off. But then I think also then it's also our the Hawaiian word would be kuleana, but our responsibility, right, to the humanity and the world and everyone and life itself is to not waste all that privilege that we have of the free time and energy to read, consume art, right, play games, to just entertain ourselves into oblivion, and just kind of waste that time. We should use that to, with Neofeud and the games, the Silver Spook games, at least if I'm succeeding at what I'm trying to do, people are learning while they're having fun. Hopefully they're being moved in a way that will help stop the rest of humanity, right, that is suffering, more so that they shouldn't have to be. Move the very comfortable humanity that has time and energy to play games to think about what they can do more deeply, dealing with the systems that we're talking about frequently, to help the rest of humanity that doesn't have the time and energy, right, to devote to fictional worlds, because they have real worlds that they have to survive. You know what I mean? So I say that because it's I did have enough education, but from where I'm from, I'm from a ghetto in downtown Honolulu, U.S. occupied downtown Honolulu, so U.S. occupied Hawaii, so and lots of people around me didn't have the privilege of going to this fancy upscale private school that I got the opportunities to go to because my dad taught there, and it's it would be prohibitively expensive for me to have gone there otherwise. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's just a little bit more about that. But that's what people like action. People fighting is fun. I mean, even in the non-West, I'm pretty Neja 2, super popular movie, biggest selling movie of that year it came out in, and it also it broke records, and it was it was not in the West that it came out and it was watched. It's got lots of fighting in it. Because it's actually a lot fighting, and actually it heightens the drama and brings all the emotions to the forefront. That's partially why you put a gun in a scene, and it's Chekhov's gun, but it's kind of people it intensifies lots of questions. It ups the stakes of everything, and people just I was playing platformers yesterday, and it's people just people just like that. People that play platformers don't all again, I don't think that people who play a video game are not all going to run out and just start shooting everything that moves, but it's just that people who listen to metal music are often pretty peaceful, pretty not that violent people in real life, partially because they're getting out a lot of the Homo sapien and pent up biochemical reactions in their body is being expended in the intense, very aggressive, loud, slashy, bangy music. I was reviewing Valfaris. I was just playing Valfaris yesterday, and also that Heavier Trip. And actually, there's lots of pacifists, anti-military, anti-imperialists, and anti-war, and also anti-capitalist in that metal comedy movie Heavier Trip. And I think there's something to that, because even there's it's kind of like if you don't want toxic masculinity, the masculine energies have to be expended in a way that's non-destructive, so that they don't kind of like curdle like so much sour alpha testosteronator filled milk. It's kind of like it's a curdled milk that's been sitting out too long, and it just gets sour and disgusting, and then it starts making YouTube videos and podcasts and talking to each other about how the women's and the people's of color is putting us all down. You have to expend that somewhere. You can heavy metal, or you just gotta do some sport. You gotta like get that out there. You gotta expend that. Build something like real that people need, like a house for people to live in or something. You gotta expend that somewhere. Don't just like let it sit in your mama's basement and talk to each other. Then you gotta get sour, curdled, Joe Roganitis juice. You're gonna get this Petersonian crust, this Petersonian bacteriological development. This culture, this like cultureless non-culture congealing in your mama's basement. Like, what? Oh my god, we gotta clean that shit up. Anyways, that was a Silver Spook comedy bit for you. Just a little comedy for you before we wrap this up. I'm just thinking of how some old AD&D adventure modules would just detail just how many coins the power specialists had hid away, whatever, out of the way Hamlet the dungeon was near. I mean, a lot of attention to detail. A lot of attention to detail goes into that. How many licks does it take to get to the center of Tootsie Roll? How many coins is stored in every peasant's little chest? Oh man, Final Fantasy 3 just like talking to Kafka, walking over to somebody's house and looking inside all their shelves. You got any books to read? Teach me how to do Lightning number 2. I might have conflated a few different RPGs in that sentence. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Thanks everybody for watching this. Again, Neofeud 2 is coming soon. Hopefully March. All continues to go as planned. Thanks to all the testers for testing the game out. Everything seems to be going well. Anything else I did not say? Check out Relooted. And I will be doing the sign out now. So don't forget to check out, if you haven't yet, or if you'd like to help us out, you can directly support us at ko-fi.com/silverspook. All the support is greatly appreciated. You can also help us out at patreon.com/neofeud to give us ongoing support here at the Silver Spook Cooperative. And when you become a patron, you also get access to behind the scenes of what we're working on, even more than what we do on this channel. And of course, when it comes to Neofeud 2, as well as other work we do here, speaking of decolonization, of restoring our ecology, food forests, food systems, and our old but new again indigenous lifeways, including trade center Ahupua system, which is a complex topic you can go and look up if you like to, and which is a system of basically non-capitalist exchange and resource distribution and management, and also which we're working on and doing lots of art and creative products for. We got some sweet potatoes that we may bring up. I think about doing that. But we're always trying to participate in that. And if you'd like to help us out with any of that work, of course, you can also get access to Silver Spook Discord when you become a patron, as well as Silver Spook University, over 1,000 hours of all the content we have produced here, categorized by topics. Yes. Also, you can grab the games such as Neofeud on. Oh, I brought up Twitch. I mean, I don't know if YouTube likes people talking about Twitch, but what we're gonna do. You can get Neofeud on Steam, and you can also get it. Neofeud is the Neofeud 1, which is again a retro cyberpunk adventure game about a ex-con robot, ex-cop social worker. Who was dishonorably discharged for refusing to shoot an innocent person, and ex-trillionaire princess try to overthrow floating palaces filled with techno king Peter Thiel-like trillionaires sitting on AI robot militaries that have put down the earth, and they're trying to stop this planet from falling into worse condition. And Neofeud is also a comedy retro adventure game. So if you like all those things, you can grab this game. If you have a second to leave even a very short review, it is massively appreciated because it does help get the game discovered in the Steam algorithm when people are looking for games to play. You can also get other games like Decolonators and also Neofeud in Digistar before you play Neofeud 2 if you're thinking about it. If you like the little bits we shared earlier about the native, it's kind of like, you know, it's a kind of metaphorical, but also science fictional, indigenous alien native peoples who are being occupied and dealing with the occupiers. This is Indigestar is a game about these people that's called the Venerans in Neofeud 2 and also in this game, and their experiences with an empire that arrives to eradicate and plunder. You must heal your landed people, prevent erasure of your native language and culture, and confront invaders before it's too late. And Indigestar is a short, about an hour-long game that's set between Neofeud 1 and 2. And there's also Pigeon with Gun, Woman, this Neofeud short story collection, and the Terminus Machina short story collection, and Woman, which is a book Holly created about critiquing right-wing Christian culture. And you can follow us all over the place, of course. Blue Sky, Mastodon, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. Look for Silver Spook. Also look for Silver Spook Guy for my personal takes on these various platforms. And you can also follow Holly. Holly you can follow on Instagram and also Twitter at Allergic to Blue. Yeah, Holly is of course my partner here at the Silver Spook Games, and of course also in life, and always doing great moderating and sharing important information and managing and a whole host of other tasks here at the Silver Spook Cooperative. So thanks a lot to Holly as well. And thanks to all, and yeah, sharing always important health information, including the fact that there are aerosolized pathogens floating about our air perpetually, and what we can do about that. Thanks to all of our Patreon patrons. Without your support, it's hard to keep doing this work. So thank you so much to all of you for that ongoing support. Massively appreciated. And thanks to everybody who has come down and joined the stream. And sorry, what did I just click on? I'm just gonna check this one last time. I've taken to using fish sauce with cooking potatoes lately. It imparts a warm flavor to them. Well, that's good. A good tip. You can never fish sauce is it's if you learn how to use it, it's a real powerful culinary weapon of mass gustatory pleasure. Okay, we'll have a good rest of your day. Have fun. Good luck. Good luck. Have fun. Remember, the heist is a crimes. Heist. I can't do the heist. The heist is a crimes. You can do it in the video game, like Relooted. And don't let no empires get away with no war crimes wherever you are. And have a good rest.